Coming to you live from a little grass shack in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's the Junior Kekuewa Jr. Show, starring Junior Kekuewa Jr.
All right, let's do this. Come on.
Join Junior along with the Wayne Borhe Band as he makes any kind from Hawaii.
Yeah, you betcha.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Junior Kekuewa Jr.
Hawaii. Oh, okay. All right, Hawaii. Wait. Whoa. Hey, ho. All right. Okay, thank you. Aloha and welcome to the podcast. I'm Junior Kekuewa Jr., all the way from Honolulu, Hawaii. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. Okay, never mind. All right, so we want to say, thank you to everybody, listening. So males are 64.9% of our audience now. Okay, and this is only on Spotify. Okay, that's the only stats that we receive. We don't have anybody else's stats because they don't share. But Spotify does. Okay, male is 64.9, female 32.4%. What happened, ladies? What happened? Come on. Okay, non-specified 0.7%, non-binary 0. Okay, and then our age starts at 17. That's why we keep the show clean. Okay, so our age bracket, so 17-year-olds, we have 0.4%, kind of goes up. And then actually our core audience is 28 to dead. Okay, basically that's what it pans out to be. United States is 89.1%, but we are like in India, Germany, China, Japan. Let's see, there's 45 countries. Okay, there's 45 countries, and the last three countries, Kazakhstan, Palestine, Armenia. Okay, Kazakhstan. So I want to tell you this story about manifestations, because we talk about manifestation, okay? So manifestation is you controlling your dreams, okay? Because, manifestation, right? We always hear that term. We think it's magic. No, it's your subconscious, okay? But here's the deal. God is real, okay? Oh, that rhymes. Okay, there you go. Well, okay, so no, God is very real. And God represents the superconscious. So there is the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Now, God is the superconscious. So what does that mean? That means that whatever you put in your subconscious, God assists you with that based upon what you believe. Okay? Now, God is not prejudiced. Okay? God does not have any prejudice. So God will go, okay, well, you want to be evil? Okay, we'll send you in that direction. Let's see how you like that one. There is a limit. Okay, there is a limit to negativity. Okay, I will tell you. Okay, there is a limit. Okay, so first you end up on the street. Okay, that's after, like a regular life, right? And then you lose all of that. Let's say you fail with all of that. There's the street. Okay, if you fail with the street, or let's say, you get into trouble, there's prison. Okay, that's one more level. Okay, so now you're down 2. Okay. After prison, there is only the graveyard. That's it. Only the graveyard. Okay, think about that. Now, on the other side, what's a positive side? Well, there's no limit to the amount of money you can make. There's no limit to the amount of cars you can own. There's no limit to, within reason, right? Yeah, I mean, some guys, they go out, they go crazy. They have a, 6-car garage. They have the Lamborghini. They have the Maserati. They have the Ferrari. They have whatever. Okay, I'm just saying, but there's no limit. Okay, on the other end, there is a limit. Graveyard. That's it. Okay, so you go down 3 levels and you're done. You're out of the game. Okay, you're out of the game. Now, for some people, that means liberation. Okay, because you're stuck in this body, right? And some people are not having a good life. Okay, so if you're not having a good life, yeah, this life may be a problem. This life may be confining. It may be a hassle to, be locked up in your body and having to, let's say you live this whole existence, right? Okay. So, you hear the alerts going on in the background. Okay. Thank you very much, Jake. Okay. Jay's in there and he's like, he's, waving his arms. I do not know. All right. I don't know how that happened, but it's going to continue to happen throughout the podcast. So just go with it. All right. So here's the thing, right, about manifestation. Manifestation. So, talk about Kazakhstan. Okay. So manifestation is so real, okay? But this is not witchcraft. It's not demons. It's not any of that. Although I'm pretty sure if you want to, really work at some negative energy, you could summon demons, okay? Because you can summon God. So, remember in the Bible in the Old Testament where God says he, the Lord creates all things, even evil. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's possible. All right, but here's the thing, Hoynes, okay? Now, if you really want something and you write it down and it goes into your subconscious, the superconscious helps it happen. The superconscious is what brings things into play for you. The right people come in, right? The right circumstances and the right avenue. And pretty soon, before you know it, boom, you have your dream, okay? So here's what happened. With this Kazakhstan kind of Uzbekistan, all the stands up there near Russia. Okay, so anyway, I don't know if it's a Czech Republic. I think it's outside the Czech Republic. I don't know. But anyway, so this happened, right? And I don't concern myself with things that aren't in my immediate, interest, right? So anyway. Although I, have learned a lot of things, but I just kind of, learn, forget, learn, forget, because there's too much to learn. Okay, there's too much to retain. There's too much to, keep, reiterating on, right? So I just let it go. But anyway, so I was sitting at my desk, okay, in my Kalihi office one day. This is Kalihi is a place in Hawaii. It's this nice. It's kind of sort. It's a nice neighborhood if you like that kind of neighborhood. I mean, if you like that kind of stuff. Okay, so anyway, but it was my office, and so I'm in the office, and it just kind of, I was bored. So I wrote down, I am so happy and grateful now that I have found I have a new playmate. I am so happy and grateful now that I have a new playmate, and because I was bored, I was just bored. So guess what happened, right? In 2 weeks' time, okay? Because I'm thinking about this. Now, here's the thing: when you write an affirmation, you start thinking about it, you start anticipating it, right? You start going, well, I wonder if this is going to happen. I wonder if this is going to happen. I wonder, when this is going to happen. Right? But now that's the subject because you're thinking about it. So I was like, okay, I wonder if this is going to happen. So I started thinking about it, right? In 2 weeks' time, right? This girl, I got this thing in the mail, in my email from the website, right? She was looking for voice lessons, right? And I'm like, okay. So she showed up, right? Now, this whole thing was like a dream. First of all, I answered the door because my door is locked because it's a high crime area. When I moved in the building, I stayed there 24 years. When we first moved in the building, it was cool. Like, we didn't have to lock the door. People came in and out of the office. And then by the time I left 24 years later, it was like we had to be fully armed. We had to have grenade launchers. Radar. It was pretty bad. Anyway, so this girl, so the doorbell rings, right? And so I answer the door. And there's this woman at the door, like this. Okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, this girl was like a 16. And it was like I was in a James Bond movie. Okay, and she said she was from one of the stands, I forget, Uzbekistan or something. There's so many of them, right? There's a whole group of them. Anyway, and so she was European, and she had the accent and everything. She sounded Russian, okay, but she didn't speak Russian. It was something else. And man, I was like looking at this girl, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, I don't know. It was just amazing, right? And I thought, whoa. Like, so I was thinking to myself too, like, I wonder if I was looking at a James Bond movie, and I wonder if I was like, oh, I hope I meet her, because I don't remember that, right? And it could have well been, because I watched a couple of James Bond movies, right, in my time. Live and Let Die was my favorite one that I liked. I liked Roger Moore, that James Bond. So I was kind of like, yeah, that was my favorite movie anyway. But anyway, so right, I welcome her in, right? Okay, what do you want to do? She's singing these classical songs. Now, I had classical training, but I don't teach classical. Classical is something that if you really teach it all the time, you really do it all the time, like you become really good at it and you become, the classical music teacher kind of thing. And I just didn't do it all the time because nobody that I knew wanted to sing classical music. So everybody wants, popular. So I taught that. And I kind of relaxed my classical standards and, form and everything. And I kind of like, okay, it's been a while. And so she wanted to do this, and it was in foreign language. It was in her mother tongue, so to speak. And so I'm like, okay. So I start teaching her, right? And this was very spiritual. It was very spiritual, not just in the way that she came to see me. Now, if you really want to think about this spiritually, okay, I unlock spirits, okay, because if we say that the energy within you, okay, you're not your body, you're not your name, you're that energy that lives within, okay? So I go in there and I unlock these prisons, these cells, okay, that hold these spirits in there, okay? And that's what I do for a living. I go in there and I if you want to put it that way, okay, I go in there and I unlock it. Why? Because they need confidence. The confidence is the only thing that prevents someone from coming out of themselves. That's it. Okay, so that's what I do. So I unlock the door because, the prison is here. Okay, I'm pointing to my head, my temple. Okay, the prison is here. Okay, but the temple is also here. Okay, so it depends on how you use it. Okay, and if you are stuck in yourself, if you are confined in yourself, if you're looking for a way out, okay, get a hold of me. I can do it for you. Anyway, so she's stuck in herself. Okay, and emotionally this happens. The eyes are the mirrors of the soul. The voice is the mirror of the feelings and emotions. Okay, so she's stuck in herself. And I can hear that, right? I can hear her voice. Her voice is tight, whatever. Sometimes it's stress. Sometimes it's trauma. Sometimes it's all of the above. Sometimes it's, a lot of emotional baggage. Sometimes it's whatever. Okay, and now you need to know that females are emotional beings. And when they get clogged up like that, life sucks for them. It really does. But when you open that door and now, she's free to come out and then she comes out and then, then it kind of just goes from there. And that's all they need is to be unlocked. Okay, and sometimes they can't figure it out. So anyway, so she, we started this process, and we went down the road like, I want to say, I don't know, a couple of months. Okay. And she turned into the playmate. And I was like, whoa, like, I'm just being real. Okay. But in this process, the unlocking part was amazing. Okay. So I think it was towards the end of the first month. Towards the end of the first month, right, I had put some pressure on her. Okay. Because you need to ground females. Okay, and I know this sounds, may sound a little weird to some of you, okay? But male energy grounds female energy. Okay, this is why, this is why women respond very well to male energy. Okay, it grounds the female energy. Okay, so anyway, well, you don't need to understand that. But anyway, so I get real firm with her and I go, come on. And I'm being adamant about her bringing herself out. And all of a sudden, I'm kind of urging her on as she's singing. And I'm like, come on. Okay, now, come on, bring it out. And all of a sudden, boom, like this voice from way down deep inside of her comes out. This beautiful operatic voice. And I had a video of it. On the Instagram, but then I deleted it, afterwards. I thought, I shouldn't put something that personal on the Instagram. And so I took it off. But it was so beautiful, and it was so what I want to call raw, because it was her inner self. Okay, and this is what I see. This is why I wrote my book. I saw these miracles happen. Okay, and it's a miracle in the sense that she wasn't like that when she walked in. Okay, a month later, we tapped into her inner spirit, and boom, there it comes. It comes out. Okay, now if this sounds really weird to you, okay, but then you're probably not, spiritually inclined or familiar. Okay, now if let's say the Bible is the only thing you've read, then look a little deeper in the Bible because it's there. But go in the Old Testament and read. Okay, go in go in Isaiah and read. Go in Ecclesiastes and read. Go in I don't know some of the old books. Okay, in James, go look. There's some accounts. Okay, and spiritual accounts, even in the New Testament, right? So it all depends on where these people are in their subconscious. Okay, and then the superconscious comes and assists. Okay, I'm just the guide. That's all. I'm just the guide. I'm not a miracle worker or anything like that. I'm just showing people how to tap into what they have. Okay, because first of all, people are unaware of who they are. Most people, the majority of people don't know who they are. Okay, and when I say don't know who they are, I mean they don't know that the kingdom is within. Okay, Jesus Christ said the kingdom is within. Most people don't know that. Okay, now I'm a spiritual voice teacher and I'm a spiritual life coach. And, these other people I hear, people go, oh, okay, I'm a spiritual, whatever. And I listen to them and I sit there and I analyze and I pay attention and I go, okay, sometimes I go, yes, okay, they know. Sometimes I'm like, okay, they have a little information, but they don't really know. No, they haven't really experienced it. No. But then, yeah, they're going through the motions and yeah, whatever. So I can tell what is superficial and what is not. Okay, so superficial, right? So esoteric knowledge, study that. Look into it. Esoteric knowledge. When you study esoteric knowledge, you'll go, oh, okay, there's some things about the human that is natural or holistic. Okay, so the hands and feet control the body, pressure points, all of these things. They're real things. They really are. Okay, so there's stuff like that. And then there's the chakras in the body that are mentioned in the Bible. The pineal gland that's mentioned in the Bible. Everything is in the Bible. Okay, but it's not just in the Bible, it's in the Quran. They kind of like do a little different take on stuff, and yeah, it's presented a little different. Okay, but then there's the Bhagavad Gita, and that kind of goes into the same thing. Okay, and it kind of echoes into the Torah, into the Talmud. It's kind of okay, but they have their own ways, their own laws, their own their own methods. Okay, but basically these things are echoed throughout. Okay, and ancient cultures were very up on these things because that's all they had. Now we have technology, we get lazy. We look outside the body. We look outside the body for cures. We look outside the body for remedies. We look outside the body for knowledge. We look outside the body for all of these things. But no, you have it in you. You have it in you. Okay? You have to tap into infinite knowledge. It's in you. Okay? Now the subconscious is one thing. The superconscious is infinite knowledge. Okay, so you were born with all three states of awareness in you: conscious, subconscious, superconscious. Now, the subconscious is a culmination of everything you've ever seen, felt, tasted, smelled, all of your senses. Okay, so just from that alone, you can tap into everything that's been around you while you've been alive. Okay, and how do you do this? Well, first of all, meditation. But it's affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay, so you can dive deep into your own memory that you don't even remember you have. Okay, but you have to meditate. Why is that? Well, you have to be still inside. And the more still you are inside, the more you can tap into intuitive thought, because the more intuition will come to you, because awareness will increase. Then you can feel the messages. I know. This sounds like way out there. This one girl was watching me on Facebook, and she said, "You need a psychologist." That was her comment, and I'm like, poor girl. she can't see past her college class. But yeah, you know, and there is an old expression. It says you can't see farther than your nose, right? But this is the conditioning that's happening. This is the conditioning that happens in college. Okay, but the conditioning doesn't start in college. It starts in kindergarten. Okay, and it starts to shape you. Now, for certain things, it's good. Okay, but unless you are astute enough, or let's say aware enough, or let's say open enough to entertain the idea that this is not all that. This education thing is kind of pointing you in certain directions. It's shaping you in certain directions. It's kind of saying, okay, this is how you do this. This is how you think. This is how you feel. This is how, right? Okay, so I'm here to tell you that that is not the end all. That is just a process. It's just a process. It's knowledge that's been handed down and filtered out and retooled and redesigned and everything. Okay, it's been reframed over and over. Okay, because you can look at Sigmund Freud's research. Okay, and then you can look at Nietzsche's research, and then you can look at, I mean, it just goes on. And then you look at Socrates. Okay, and then you go, wow, Socrates knew these things. And wow, Plato was talking about this, and then you come down the pipe, right? And then pretty soon it's like, oh well, Freud has some, some beliefs that Plato shared, and then you see, well, they were like eons and light years before him, right? And then since Freud, right, you have a bunch of young guys going, nah, Freud was crazy. Nah, Freud didn't know what he was talking about. He was a crazy old man. Okay, so. And then there's going to be people in the future that are going to go, no, these kids who said Freud was crazy, okay, they're crazy because that's not how it goes. So it's like, okay, you have your own perception, okay? You have to understand that everybody has their own perception. There's going to be the new and improved everything, okay? But it's going to be a reiteration of what was, because what is, okay? And all creation was pronounced complete in the Emerald Tablets 5,000 years ago. Okay, creation was deemed complete in the Emerald Tablets. And ever since then, okay, now the Emerald Tablets are 5,000 years old. So that's 3,000 years before the Bible. Okay? And I'm not dismissing the Bible or anything. I love the Bible. I read the Bible. The Bible is your roadmap to the inner you, to insight. Okay, esoterically, the Bible is your owner's manual, your operating manual. Okay, because if you follow what the Bible says, if you follow these principles that's outlined in the Bible, okay, the kingdom is within, and I keep saying it over and over and over. Okay, Jesus Christ taught us that the kingdom is within. Okay, but spiritually, it goes deeper than that. Spiritually, you have to go a little bit deeper. You have to allow, okay, for a certain expansion to take place in your mind. And I'm not talking about drugs. I don't do mushrooms. I don't do any of that. I don't even smoke weed. I haven't touched weed since I don't know, I was 20, I think, something like that. Okay, nothing like that. Okay, but here's the thing. If you can't grasp these principles, then you need to do a little digging. You need to go down a little deeper in your soul, in your mind, okay? And you need to experience some sort of spiritual expansion because you're bigger than that inside, okay? You've just been conditioned into a very small space out here, okay, out in the physical world. Okay, because God is not the white man in the sky with the beard like in the Sistine Chapel. That's not God. Okay, God just is. God is bigger than description. Okay, so the thing that really amazes me, the thing that puzzles me, and kind of, it doesn't puzzle me, I'm like, oh man, it's like the biggest expression of the height of ego, right? Is somebody standing on a pulpit telling other human beings, right, that, basically expressing the will of all creation. And I'm like, what? He's doing what? He's saying how God feels. This is how God feels. God feels this. This God said, this. God, this is God's will. I'm like, oh, wow, God's will. Okay, so human beings are just like a grain of sand on a beach. That's how many of us there are. There's like 8 billion people. 8 billion people on the planet. Okay, and God is bigger than that. God is bigger than 8 billion people. Okay, God is expansive. Okay, and then this guy in church knows the will of Almighty God. Whoa, Tiger, easy, Tiger. Okay, all right. So, but I'm just saying, like, it's so infinite. It's so encompassing. Okay, that the best you could ever do is just enjoy it. Enjoy the blessings. Okay, welcome the blessings. Be open to the blessings. Enjoy the blessings. Okay, because you don't have very long. You only have so long to enjoy this, and then it's back. It's back to the spirit world. It's back to being energy. Exclusive energy. That's it. You're just going to be energy until you come back, until you take another shape, until you take another form. Okay, and you could be a lily pad. You could be the frog on the lily pad. You could be the tree branch. You could be the leaf. I mean, we don't know. The truth of the matter is you don't know. Okay, you know what you've been told in the holy books and all of that stuff. Okay, but if you go back to the origin, okay, original. If you go back to the origin, you go, oh, okay, wait a minute. What book predates all this stuff? Well, there's a couple of them. Okay, you can go back to India. All religion came out of the East. Everything came out of the East. The sun rises in the East and it sets in the West. Okay, that's a metaphor, right? But right now we see the sun setting in the West. It's going down. It's really, it's not a pretty picture right now. But, okay, the good news. Here's the good news, right? There's always balance. There's a revival happening. There's a huge revival happening. Young kids. Because they're starting to realize that, hey, if we let this trend continue, there's not going to be anything for us. If we let this continue, there's not going to be anything left for us. There you go. There you go, Hawaiians. And the kids know this. They see this. Okay, they're not stupid. Okay, kids are not stupid. Okay, they see this. They know this. And now they're beginning to act. And all over the world, Gen Zs are rebelling. All over the world, okay? In so many different cultures and so many different ways, these kids are like, nope, not having it, okay? The kids will change the world, okay? I'm here to watch. I'm here to observe. My time is very, the height of my career is over. I'm like, I'm just teaching now. Which may be, I don't know, maybe the height of my career. This may be the height of my career. When I was in the height of my other careers, like I had no knowledge. I was like, okay, well, to me, there was just a lot of work to do. Okay, and this is why I say, when you are climbing that imaginary ladder of success and you get to where you think where you think you should have been, and you get to that place, you don't feel a sense of accomplishment. It's just you get up, go to work, get up, go to work, get up, go to work. And whatever you do, if you're in the public eye like I was, you go to work, you talk to 130,000 people every morning, make jokes in front of 130,000 listeners every morning, whatever it is you do. Okay, you go perform for, 1,500 people every night, whatever. Okay, whatever you do, you do. But you're not going to feel like, oh man, I made it. You're not going to feel like that. You're going to feel like, oh boy, it's just another job. But when you see somebody else do that kind of job, the kind of job you want to do, and you see people doing that, right? You're going to be like, if only I could do that. If only I could perform for 1,500 people like that guy. If only I could be on television like that guy. If only I could be on the radio like that guy. If only I could be in the movies like that guy, right? You see? And when you're in the movies, it's a job. It's a job. Okay, now, here's the thing, right? like I've always made it a point to like quit whenever it became a job. Okay, because I live my dreams. Okay, my dream is not to like toil. My dream was not to like, run it into the ground. My dream was, okay, I want to have this experience. I want to have that experience. I want to have, and like that girl that came from one of the stands, right? It was like a movie. It was like she showed up at the door and I knew exactly who she was, right? She came out of my affirmations. I knew exactly why she came. Okay, because the superconscious went, hey, go check this guy. He's looking. Go check him. He needs a playmate. Go play with him, right? And she showed up. I mean, I'm just saying it's it is what it is. Okay, but she came seeking, right? And I was there, and I was seeking. Okay, but we didn't know each other. Okay, but our paths intersected, right? And she benefited from me. I benefited from her. We benefited each other. And then as fast as she came, she was gone. Just like that. She was gone after 2 months. And here's where men, if we can touch on, like a little information on a little relationship, something. Okay. So you men out there, okay, here's where men get it wrong with women all the time. All the time. You try to possess that in which you find pleasing. You try to possess her. Okay? No, just let her go. Let her go. Okay? Because I bet that chick went back to the office because I haven't been there for a while. I've left the office years ago. Okay? But I bet you came back. You know why? Because they always come back. They always come back if, here's the caveat, okay? If you treat them well. Treat a girl good, okay? But give her the space to take off and disappear. She will come back. She may not come back this year. She may not come back next year. She will come back. If, a couple of things, okay? You got to be sincere because women know when you're full of crap. Okay, so you got to be sincere. Okay, the other thing is, like a little girl with daddy, you got to be like that. They come, they go, daddy. They want attention, give them attention. Okay, they go. All right, next girl comes along. She wants attention. Give her attention. Be nice to her. Take her places. Do stuff for her. Whatever. Your job as a man is to leave a woman better than when you found her. That's your job. As long as you're doing that, as long as you whatever. And that doesn't necessarily mean providing for her. Okay, it may mean just giving her attention. Okay, it may mean just being nice to her, being good to her, being a solid person, and then she goes, and let her go. Don't try to possess her. Okay, sometimes, instead of picking the flower, just admire the flower. Just enjoy the flower. You don't have to pick it. You don't have to possess it. Okay, you don't have to own things. Get out of ownership mentality. You don't have to own things. Okay, ownership presents responsibility. Okay, and you really don't need to own the car. You can lease the car. I don't have the responsibility of suffering all the losses of the car. I rent the car. Basically, it's a rental car. Lease the car. Okay, lease the house. Okay, well, I bought the house, sold the house. Now I lease. So you don't have to own. But in commerce, right? In capitalism, we got to own as much as possible. We have to own these. We need assets. We need all this stuff. Okay, pretty soon you got too much stuff. I got stuff surrounding me that I don't even use, that I can't use. That when I was in my 20s, I would kill for this stuff. I was like, whoa, wish I had a guitar like that. Wish I had a guitar like that. Wish I had a guitar like that. They're all sitting over here in my office. They're all sitting right here. And I don't have time to play them. Why? Because I'm teaching. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing my consulting. I'm doing this. I'm doing all these things, right? I don't have the kind of time that I had when I was looking at these instruments going, boy, I wish I had that. Okay? And be careful what you wish for, because they're all sitting over there looking at me. They're all sitting over there staring at me like, hey, when are you going to play me? Come on. I thought you wanted me in your life. What's going on, dude? You see? Okay? All right. Well, I'm just saying. I'm trying to make it funny always. Okay. But when you write things down, when you intend it, okay, be careful what you intend. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you tell God you want. Okay. Because you'll be responsible. Okay. But with women in a relationship, in a friendship, or whatever, you want to be good with women? Okay, don't give them creepy vibes. Okay? Don't do that. Okay? Allow them to come and go at will. Okay? Really, seriously. You'll have a better life. You'll have a much better life because there's no condition. That's what you call unconditional love. Love them when they're there. Appreciate them when they're there. Okay? I love them when they're there. I love them when they're not there. I don't care. They come and go. Okay, next one will come. Women just want to be loved. If you just love women, okay, instead of like, okay, I'm going to love her, but if she, does this for me, does that for me, whatever, does a cartwheel for me, whatever it is. Okay, no. Erase, rewind. Okay, just let her come into your life. Let her share whatever. Let her laugh. Let her be her. Let her be emotional. Let her be. And then let her go. Let her go. She could come back. Guarantee. If she had a good experience, she will come back. You know why? Other guys, okay, that are into possessiveness, that are into possession, that are into like, okay, I'm forking out this money for you. You better do this, that kind of thing. Those guys will push her back to you. Guarantee. Works every time. All I do is wait. Sometimes just wait, but I have purpose. So you focus on your purpose. Okay. Like right now, I'm doing this podcast. I have no time for women right now. Okay. But when I go check my text, I'll get a, hey, whatever. I'm just saying. Okay. But focus on your purpose. Okay. Keep yourself busy. The idle mind is the devil's workshop, okay? An idle mind, not a busy mind. If you have a busy mind and you're applying your mind to something, then the devil has no time to work, okay? So, the devil is you. God lives in you. The devil lives in you. It's that choice you got to make. It's a choice, always a choice. Well, I could drink a case of vodka or I could go to the gym. Which one am I going to choose? Some guys, they go, hey, today's vodka day, and some guys are like, no, I don't have no time for vodka. I need the gym. Okay. So it's up to you. Like I said, this manifestation thing is not a moralistic thing. It's whatever you choose and you're going to get good or bad based upon your decisions, okay, based upon your actions. But here's the thing. You can actually install these programs in your subconscious. And when you install these programs in your subconscious, it will be like autopilot because it will automatically continue. Okay, so the guys go into the military. You ever see a military guy, retired military, right? He lives like he's still in the military. He dresses like he's still in the military. Well, some of them, right? Some of the guys, they go to war, they come back, they go, they grow the hair, the beard, or whatever. Okay, but most of these guys are organized for life. These guys are military for life. Once a Marine, always a Marine, right? Once a Navy guy, always a Navy guy. Like, okay, in the head, in the brain, their habits, okay, their structure, all of those things. Okay, this is what I admire about military people. I admire this stuff about them, right? Because they get trained. The military will break you down and rebuild you. And once you're rebuilt, you'll stay that way. You will stay that way, okay? Because once you go through 4 years of that, like it follows you. And it helps you in every area of your life, okay? It really does. And so with these, and you can do this without the military, but you need to really be up on things. You really need, I hate to use the word self-discipline, but let's use the word repetition. You need repetition. You need to keep doing it because through repetition, it goes in your subconscious. Then your subconscious starts to repeat it. Okay. Let me share this with you. Okay. So when I was younger, right, I used to love to wear a t-shirt and shorts. I loved it. Okay. my uncle was an entertainer, and my mom's youngest brother, and he did as well as he could do in entertainment, and he told me something very interesting in the very beginning, like the get go, like when I first was starting to entertain the idea of being an entertainer. And here's what he told me. He said, look, you cannot go perform on a stage and dress up nice and play your guitar and sing for people and then let them see you in the shopping center in t-shirt and shorts. He said, you can't do that. And I'm like, why not? I mean, I didn't, in the beginning, I didn't know. He goes, because if you want to be a star, you have to dress like a star. You have to carry yourself like a star. You have to behave like a star. You can't be out there swearing and carrying on and getting drunk and falling all over the place in public and doing all that kind of stuff and let people see you like that and then expect for them to sit in a club and clap for you and support you and look at you as the entertainer. And I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't make sense, right? Because you have to take yourself out of the box and go, okay, what if it was me, and what if I'm seeing this guy, and I'm giving this guy tip or going and supporting his venue, and I'm watching this guy, and then I see him, I don't know, in the parking lot at 3:00 in the morning somewhere, and he's a mess, and he's falling all over himself and throwing up in the parking lot, doing all that stuff and being irresponsible. And do I really want to support that guy? I don't know. There were some guys when I was growing up, right, that they were so heavy into drugs. These guys were like landmark entertainers in Hawaii. Landmark entertainers. Okay, but when people would show up at the venue, these guys were getting carried out on stretchers. Okay, and because they were warming up in the dressing room. They were warming up. Okay, and sometimes those warm ups went a little overboard. They couldn't make the show. Okay, but I'm just saying, and we used to joke about it, and the radio guys and I used to joke about it because we used to see so and so, and there used to be this line, and we were standing in line, and I guess these guys were younger because they're from here. I'm not from this island, but and they go, yeah, and then the EMTs came and carried him on the stretcher. It's like, whoa, okay, but those things happen, okay. But it has served me very well to acquire good habits. And those habits are subconscious. Okay, I don't leave the house in slippers. I wore slippers for a couple of months only because my toe got, I had something wrong with my toe, my foot, and I had to allow the swelling to go down and whatever, okay? But other than that, I don't even wear slippers out of the house unless I'm going to the beach. If I go to the beach, yeah, can. Okay. But otherwise I wear shoes, like I dress. Okay. And yeah, one of my friends made a remark of something about like I'm so well dressed or what he noticed. He just happened to say that we have dinner once a month. And I was like, oh, okay. People notice. I don't notice because for me, it's subconscious. Okay, you don't leave the house with your hair a wreck. You comb your hair. You do whatever, right? Like hygiene. You get it together before you leave the house. You look in a mirror before you leave, right? Some of these people, I see them in the shopping center now. I'm like, I don't think they look in mirrors. Maybe they look in mirrors. Maybe they just accept, like that. Maybe they accept that. But yeah, so I had to develop these habits. Okay, but I had to be my own military. I had to be my own commander. I had to be my own drill sergeant. I had to do all that stuff by myself. Okay, so you can too. Okay, but it's subconscious. Just know that once you commit it to your subconscious, once you do something in repetition, it becomes natural and you do it all the time. It's called a routine and you gotta build one. Okay, but when it comes to manifestation, when it comes to, I want to plan this so that this happens in my life. I want to write this into my subconscious so that this program happens. You are your own computer programmer and you are the computer. Okay, so you can program this computer to give you results. Okay, because you can't get anything out of a computer other than what you put into it in the first place. Okay, but you can program your life. You can design your life. It starts with a pen. Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Vocalization, speak the dream. Speak of it. Speak of it in the present. Okay, I am so happy and grateful now that I have $10,000 a month or whatever it is for you or whatever. But speak it into existence. Okay, meditate. When you meditate, ask for it. When you meditate, some people don't ask big enough. You have to ask big. Go bigger. Go bigger. That way, when you get, maybe half of it, you'll be ecstatic. When I was writing affirmations, I wrote affirmations for money. I started at $20 and I went 50 and I went 100 and I went 200, 500, whatever. I worked my way up to 5,000 until it wasn't even a thing anymore. But it was in my subconscious. So my subconscious was very used to turning over $5,000 at a time for me, right? And all I had to do was keep writing it. And then I gave up on it. I'm like, okay, I don't have anything to prove anymore. Okay, and then I started writing for clients. So now I write for clients instead of dollars. But what I'm saying is, whatever it is for you. Like for me, it used to be new car, new car, new car, new car. Okay, now it's like new car smell. As long as I have new car smell, I know I'm doing good. Okay, so I've had new car smell since 2007. It's 2025. New car smell. Every time I go in my car right now, okay, because I figured it out. When you lease a car, right, 3-year lease, okay, at the end of 3 years, you still have new car smell. Yeah. And before that, right, I had, good used cars, no new car smell. Okay, so because they were more than 3 years old. Okay, so anyway, but that's what I learned. So I learned that at the end of 3 years, still has new car smell, okay? So just I go in my car, I go, and it reminds me, okay, it helps my subconscious. It reminds me that, okay, yeah, you require a new car smell. I know it sounds stupid. Okay? But these are the little games that you have to play with your subconscious. These are the little things you have to tell your subconscious. If you keep going, no, this is BS. If you keep going, no, this doesn't, no, I'm thinking weird, then you're never going to get what you want. You're never going to get what you want. Because inside you're telling yourself you're not worthy when you do that. When you start, doubting and fearing, okay, those two things, doubt and fear. Okay, if you doubt yourself or you doubt that what you're thinking is the way you should be thinking, or you're like, yeah, that's just my imagination or whatever, now you're dismissing everything. And when you dismiss yourself, when you dismiss the process, you're dismissing God, because God is the process. God is within you. The Holy Spirit is within you. Jesus Christ is within you. Okay? Remember that. Always remember that. When you call upon the name of Jesus, the name of God, the universe, source, whatever you call that, your higher intelligence, infinite intelligence, all of that. Whenever you call upon that, it begins to work for you. You don't even have to give that a name. You can just say, I want this, I want that. I desire this, I desire that. Okay, you don't even have to say, don't say I need, because then you're implying lack. Okay? Just say, I desire this, I want that. You could say, I want that. Okay? Or you could just say, I desire this, I desire that. I think this will happen. I think that will happen. Stuff like that, right? So when you start doing these things, when you start coming from that kind of talk, things start to happen. Okay? But when you logically figure everything out, like you're using a slide rule and a compass and you're trying to be logical, okay? That's when you just screw yourself out of everything. And this is what you can learn from women, because they're emotional, okay? And look at how fast women manifest things. overnight. Boom, overnight she builds Mrs. Fields. Hello, cookies, okay, cookies, a cookie empire. There you go, right? And you have women like that, right? They climb the corporate ladder, and they're really good at it. Women are way more like, I want to say they have way more depth than men, like totally, okay, because they feel as well as think. Mm-hmm. And you know what happens when you add emotion to intention? You get manifestation. Emotional beings, right? Women, hello, there you go. Okay. And when you want here, I'm going to leave you with this. When you choose the dog that you want to guard your house, okay, let's say it's a German Shepherd. You don't want the male German Shepherd. No. You want the female German Shepherd, okay? You know why? Well, it's quite simple. You want the female German Shepherd because she is engineered to protect her young. She will kill to protect your house. Okay, there you go. There's your caveat. Yep. Get the female, okay? Oh man, surround yourself with females and yeah. Oh man. Bugger ono. All right, hey, we want to thank the Voice Master family of service companies. I gotta go. I gotta go. At Darren Chinette, AFMHawaiiMusic.com. Check it out. Till next time, I'm Junior Kekuewa Jr. Say mahalo and